Floods wreaking havoc in parts of Tshwane here in Gauteng after heavy rains and storms at the weekend. The city plans to relocate people living in low-lying and flood-prone informal settlements. People in some of these areas have already begun rebuilding and are not eager to relocate. With various challenges emerging, what are the plans that government have for them? Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila trying to find those answers for us. Joining us now live from Eerste Fabriek in Mamelodi, Tshwane. Good afternoon, Aviwe. What's been happening there with these efforts post these floods to relocate some of the people who've been affected?
Well, but then I've spent the majority of the day here talking to the residents of Eerste Fabriek, and they're dispelling that notion that they don't want to move here. They say that no person in their right mind would want to live in such squalor. In fact, we've seen a number of politicians and government officials make their way here. Even now, the residents have just had a meeting with the housing MEC in the city of Tshwane, Abel Dow, and the promise there is that by October only, they'll be built then new houses. In fact, the residents not even giving a listening ear to that, given that they've heard these promises before. Back in 2019, they saw similar floods, and they've been promised then already. Even in speaking to the housing MEC, he did concede that government has failed these people. In fact, I want to catch up with one of the leaders here, Amina Khoza, just to get a feedback from the meeting. Amina, thank you for joining us at eNCA once more. Kodwa nithethile no MMC warehousing Abel Khoza uthi uzanakhela izindlu ngo-October. Niyazithemba izithembiso?
Into mina engizwe angitshela yona asitshela yona thina njengoba besinaye lapha usitshela ukuthi yena ayi October sobe sesiphumile lana uyawusiza, so yena usithembisa ngendaba yango October. So for now sisenkingeni thina la, asazi ukuthi manje kwamanje asazi ukuthi kumele senze njani. Abantwana kokuqala abana uniform yesikole, abantwana kwesithu abana kudla, labantu laba bagcwele la bonke abana kudla, abazi ukuthi la ngamalishona bohlala kuphi. Mawuhamba uye eholweni la kuthiwa siye khona, mawubuya la even alezenkeli wana usalithodi. So akunamuntu ofike MMC yona self azange ifike isithembise into right. Usitshela ngokuthi mayelana nokudla usayikhuluma nabanye yenye MMC yokudla. So manje asazi ukuthi la kumele simekuphi kahle kahle. And masakasuka le ufike wathola community ila azange afike address community. Ufike wandlula wahamba. Manje councilor nayo ile ibhalela kuza la ngoba kusedakeni. Kumele thina simlandelele la nganamadaka khona. So manje asazi ukuthi la kahle kahle simephi.
Yeah, so, but just a short summary of that, saying that the MMC has promised these houses in October. They don't know what they'll do tonight because they still have to sleep in these broken houses because of the floods. The children don't have uniform, they don't have food or proper shelter. So some of what she's been saying, before, but 2019 zazikhona floods nathenjiswa izindlu kwenzeka ntoni?
Ngo-2019 sathenjiswa ukuthi sizochiftwa la siswe eqaleni bakhuluma ngeBaviana. Indaba seBaviana egcina inyatheliwe, babuya bathi Moyi Plus. eMoyi Plus kwagcina la kuphume imizi eyi-38. I-38 yemizi leyo yiyo yagcina ibenefitile. Babuya basembisa ukuthi kune phase 2. I-phase 2 le makumele izoba khona basitshela ngokuthi kune corona, kune covid. Ukushuka lapho azange kusalokho kanjani, namanje still sesela. Simashile ayikho into esingazange size siyenze ukuthi basishifte la basise eMoyi Plus la basithembisa khona ukuthi bazosisa khona.
Okay, so the earlier promises brought down when there were floods here 2019, where in fact they were promised they'll be moved to Moyi Plus and other surrounding areas. They're saying that those haven't come to fruition. In fact, they've only been built 38 houses for 38 families. You understand, this is an entire community that still lives in squalor this very moment. In fact, Dan, as I speak to you, the councillor of this area is just meters away in the proper road there. He says that he's not going to come in and address these people because of the mud that he has to be met with in coming here. So some of them have gone to actually call him out. We don't know whether the councillor will actually come here. Some of these weird developments as we hear the people live in squalor here with the promise of only being built houses by October.
Now, I see some vehicles behind you there, Aviwe. I don't know if you can return and see them as well. I don't know if they might be transporting any of the local municipal officials at all or not. But on that score, what have they said besides saying that they're not coming there right now to address the residents?
So it's the councillor that's not coming, the councillor that's responsible for these people here. But we've seen a number of politicians on the ground. Earlier on, I spoke to the chief whip of the EFF, who's in the cause that you see this very moment. I understand they did come to give some aid, and they're promising to hold government accountable in council. You understand, it's a new term, a new chief whip that promises, even if the government fails to build houses for these people, saying that they themselves will take it upon themselves. But in speaking to the MMC of housing in the city of Tshwane, Abel Dow, he did say that only by October they will then build these houses, but conceding that they have failed the people, admitting that in the numerous floods there have been those promises of houses. In fact, 15,000 units were supposed to be built for these people. That didn't come to fruition, because we do understand, he mentions that the price that 15,000 rand, 15,000 houses were supposed to be acquired to was too bloated. But no house, we do understand, has been built for these people, as they still continue to live in the squalor that they live in this very moment.
Any temporary shelter for them? I mean, you could see there's a lot of water and mud around. I mean, it rained quite a bit at the weekend, as we know, with the stormy weather over parts of Gauteng. Are they being afforded any temporary shelter, for example?
So that's a bone of contention, Bradan, because you'll find out that there are community halls and churches that are availed to these people. But what happens then is that the people that go there, and there are some that are living in these community halls, when they come back, they see none of their belongings left. We hear that these Nyaope boys come in and they destroy the shacks completely. They don't get the zincs to build the shacks themselves. So some of them choose to stay here rather and then start afresh and build afresh. That's where that confusion of them not wanting to leave this place comes from. They say that they only stay here to protect what little left is there of their belongings. Not that they don't want to leave here. They want better houses. They want better lives, saying that no sane person would want to leave in these deplorable conditions that they are forced to live in at this current moment. But they'd rather stay here and rebuild up until such a time that they're then moved to these proper houses. So yes, there is shelter that's afforded for them, community halls, where we do hear that there's squabbles around that even, because it seems that these housing lists then cater for the people that go to those community halls, and they're the ones that get taken care of and get those food aids time and again, while these ones that choose to remain behind are left living in the squalor.
Yeah, they're refusing to evacuate because of wanting to look after their belongings. They don't want to lose anything. That's a very tragic situation. Well, hopefully there will be a solution found to that, because we are still in the middle, of course, of the rainy season. Thank you very much, Aviwe Mtila, senior reporter here at eNCA on the ground in Eerste Fabriek, Tshwane. Now,